Ubisoft is forging a new era of Rainbow Six esports. And if you ask me, it is very exciting. 9 regions, an open-ish circuit, and a brand new partnership with Blast Premier. Look, it's no secret that competitive Siege, and indeed Siege in general, has been down fairly horrendous since the onset of COVID. The question is whether this is enough to breathe second life into it. Alright, bruvs, before I start spittin' Siege, I must ever so quickly plug our merch. The holiday season is almost upon us, and what better way to treat that someone special in your life than by sartorially reminding them to go outside once in a while. Our Touch Grass hoodie now comes in black and cream colorways, so be a darling and check them out. Okay, so earlier this week, Ubisoft announced their brand new Forge the New era of Rainbow Six esports. There was a lot of hype surrounding this announcement, and truth be told, it didn't end up being what everyone thought it was going to be. Still, it was big, really big. Competitive Siege, as we know it, is changing for the foreseeable future. So let's break it down. Starting March 2023, the Rainbow Six esports global circuit will boast 9 regions. Yes, 9. Europe, North America, Brazil, Hispanic, Latin America, Japan, South Korea, Asia, Oceania, and MENA. I know these regions seem very weirdly divided, but I assure you that there is a logic to it. For years, certain regions have been dominated by certain countries, resulting in up-and-coming esports scenes being stifled by larger, more established ones. By separating, say, Brazil from the rest of LATAM, you enable the rest of the region to grow and compete without being gatekept from standing on a world stage each and every time a qualifier rolls around. And for a region like MENA, who's been begging for years to just have a chance at playing in the big leagues, this is world-changing. The only way for these regions to grow and develop is to offer them an actual avenue into the majors. And Ubisoft have done that. According to the announcement, the details surrounding the leagues in Asia, Oceania, and MENA have yet to be ironed out, but those in NA, EU, Brazil, and Japan will each showcase 10 teams, whilst those in South Korea and Hispanic Latin America will showcase 8. Ubisoft have branded their new system as a hybrid, and the reason for that is that each of these regions will have an open qualifier, which, together with the closed league, will determine who gets to play at the major that takes place at the end of each stage. The 2023 season will consist of 2 3-month-long stages. The first is followed by a 3-month-long off-season, and the second by a 2-month-long off-season. After that, there's the Invitational, which will no longer have an open qualifier. You need to qualify by way of points, which, honestly, I'm not sure how I feel about. Given that SI is quite literally modeled after TI, it does sort of feel like it should have an anyone can enter and win component. Like that's just part of its DNA, you know? As for the majors, since we now have 9 regions and there's only 2 majors per year, they're adding an additional phase to each tournament that precedes the group stage and playoffs. Sort of like the challenger stage of a CSGO major. Speaking of CSGO, Ubisoft closed their announcement video by revealing that they'd entered a multi-year partnership with Blast Premier. For those of you who don't actually watch a ton of CSGO, Blast have earned a lot of respect and admiration from the CSGO community over the past couple of years. Their production value is considered first rate by many. And despite holding smaller events than, say, ESL, PGL, or even StarLadder, they produce what many consider to be world-class offerings. For Blast to be bringing that level of production value to Siege is just... I am actually getting hyped just thinking about it. As for the circuit itself, you might be looking at the schedule and thinking, that's a lot of downtime between stages. What's gonna fill it? Well, aside from offering plenty of time for rest and recuperation, which is genuinely important, it will in fact give third-party organizers a chance to hold Siege tournaments, which is huge. I could go on and on about why open circuits are indeed the very lifeblood of esports and why they benefit orgs, viewers, sponsors, and competitors alike, But suffice it to say, this is exactly the injection of organic grassroots competition that Siege was in need of. In fact, it was exactly this kind of third-party involvement that used to play a huge role in Siege esports. And it's fantastic to see Ubisoft harkening back to that earlier business model. Bring back the dream hacks, the OGA pits. Hell, give me a Beyond the Summit Siege event. That would be sick. Not only will this new system open up the esport competitively, creatively, and indeed financially, but it'll make it so that with the help of our 6 share, orgs are more enticed to get into Siege in the first place. Think about it. Some random LFO stack qualify for a major without having to be in a closed league, win the major, and before you know it, they're getting signed by 100 Thieves. Now, to be fair, there are also a lot of unanswered questions regarding this new circuit. It's good to be excited. I know that I am. But it's also important to temper that excitement with the uncertainty of what's to come. There are a lot of individual leagues that now have to stand on their own, and a lot of downtime in between the now reduced number of stages. Ubisoft are clearly casting a very wide net, and it's good. It's ambitious. The question is, will they be able to execute on it? It does seem as if we're going to be getting a lot more concrete information come SI, which is only like 2 months away, so stay tuned. Until then, enjoy the new season and just be psyched about Siege again. The game continues to be in the best state it's ever been, and the hope is that soon enough, that will also be true of the esports scene. See you next time. Dude, if you don't know Blast production value, they are just like, I don't even describe it. I just can't, I don't know. Like, they're putting on the next major in Paris for a reason. It's gonna be a blast. That's literally what I think what Wayu, the esports director of Siege, said. Like when they did the sign off on the video, he's like, have a blast with the new season. And then they did it was just so fun.